I'm so glad you said that because as you were talking about that, I thought, you know what? This is a great beer to have in the morning.
Yeah.
This is
Belgian waffles with syrup and salty, meaty bacon on the side.
Pints and Pairings is brought to you in part by Word Driving and The Beer Cave. Learn more about our sponsors at hopheadshead.com/pints-and-pairings.
All right. This is your show, guys.
We're all looking like, hey, owner of the restaurant, take us out.
Who wants to get this party started?
This is Pints and Pairings, right?
This is Pints and Pairings. I'm Curtis Taylor, also known as Hopheads Head.
And I'm Jason Hennick with Everybody's Hungry.
Of course, and this guy here needs no introduction, Joby from Barrel House 101.
Yeah, we'll give him one anyway.
Okay.
And Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis.
And Happy Hour. He's
what's up, plug?
Just saying.
Just getting kicked off. A great show. I mean, I'm really excited about tonight.
We're out of the dungeon today.
We're out of the dungeon. And
This is nice. It's kind of weird. It's like
bright and shiny.
We actually get a little fresh air. There's some
fresh
sunshine.
air is nice. There's traffic for the fair on Thompson. Everyone's going to see Jake Owen tonight.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
There you go.
So
Country star, right?
Well, not everyone, because there's a lot of people here.
And we're here. Yeah, we're not going there.
And what this means, though, is that since this is all backed up from the fair, that when emergency vehicles go by, it's going to be a 15-minute ordeal as they're blaring their horns and telling everyone to get out. It's already happened once this evening. So.
That's where great post-production work comes in, Curtis.
Well, it's natural. You should leave it in.
It'll be.
It's a natural environment.
Yeah, because there's no way that I'm not. I can cut things out, but isolating that emergency vehicle track and then pulling that completely out. That's something that
I think what you could do is.
Oh.
Ooh.
There you go.
See, there you go. Production guy right there. You could just freeze that frame with a little message up at the top that says we're experiencing technical difficulties. And you have
I
a
like
little
technical
ambulance
difficulties.
icon that goes along. Little ambulance going across the screen.
What was the ABV on that first beer you had?
I don't know about that.
I'm just excited about tonight. It's going to be a fun night.
This double IPA is tasting really good.
It does, and it's
like fresh.
So we're tasting a couple of beer, double IPA from Groundswell Brewing. That's Groundswell Brewing Company. And there you go,
man.
Slide in. Kevin Hilgeman. There we go. Kevin Hilgeman will be joining us in the next episode, certainly, and we'll learn more about Groundswell. He drove. It was only supposed to take 3.5 hours. It took him 5 hours to drive up here.
In typical San Diego to LA and even further to Ventura fashion.
There's nothing you can't get.
Do not trust MapQuest.
No, and there's no great inland route to bypass the freeway. You just have to go.
It's from that section of the state to here. There's nothing.
Basically, it's all of Southern California.
I mean, other than getting on a boat.
Which actually
that takes actually longer. I've done it.
My next attempt and my next goal is helicopter.
Oh, that would work. That'd be nice. It'd be a pretty view, too.
On one side, we'll have the Pints and Pairings
logo. We're going to broadcast in a helicopter?
No, that'll just be our mode of transportation. Cool. On one side, Pints and Pairings logo. The other side, Happy Hour, Joby and Curtis. And we just show up at our remotes via helicopter.
We could broadcast on the train.
There you go. Well,
that only takes actually, now that I think of it, I used to think
plugins. There's plugins on the train.
I used to think the train took a long time, but it just took him the same amount of time as the train takes.
Right.
So it's really not that bad on the train.
And you get to do something else on the train.
Well, yeah.
That's the big thing. And you can drink on the way.
Can you imagine if he rolled up with like 3 kegs and just parked on the train? I mean, I'm sure you could do it.
Right.
It's cargo.
Right.
It's luggage.
Just put it in the overhead bin. Nah, maybe not.
You remember that beer camp across America?
Yeah.
They had a picture of the sun.
Brew dogs brewing on an Amtrak train.
They had that one too, but they also had I can't remember his name now.
My contempt.
The son of Sierra Nevada Grossman. But I forgot his first name. Forgive me. But he's. They have a picture of him going to like this train station in Chicago, and he's got like 3 kegs piled.
Oh yeah, on his cart.
Yeah.
It took
so
me
I'm
a
like,
second.
he took him on the train.
Yeah, he did.
I'm turning my thingy off here.
It's way too early for Word Driving to be calling you.
Yeah, come on, guys, work on the schedule here.
We'll be there in 5 minutes. Great.
You know what's exciting is this feels like a meltdown show, and it's technically the warm-up show.
It is a warm-up show.
Which means we're just gonna have so much fun later tonight.
I believe so. I organized a later pickup so that I could kind of hang out and you know the debauchery that happens after we turn the mics off or generally I'm just falling asleep and it's time for me to go home.
It happens.
So if I'm a little conservative tonight, I apologize in advance. of my drinking.
Wait, you're acting like you have a business to run. Or
I have a
something.
disclaimer. No, I was actually having fun for a couple days. So.
Oh yeah,
For-
this guy.
For some reason, this show or one of these shows, somehow I always come in from like being away for a couple days, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna drink.
well,
Jason
especially
offers
with,
me a beer.
I know, but especially with the location you just came from. So I texted him the other day, was asking some questions about tonight's beer lineup and the the kegs. Are they going to be here? Do you need help? And no response. I came into the restaurant, sit down. I'm doing a little work, trying to prep for the show, and they're like, "Yeah, he's not responding to anybody. No text, no phone calls, no nothing." I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like,
That was the plan.
"He went to Vegas."
That's
And
what they thought.
that seems appropriate not to.
I think that's
Answer
a
phone calls.
perfect excuse to give someone when you don't want to be contacted. Hey, I'm going to Vegas. All right, don't even try and get a
South
hold of
America would probably be better, but
them. Well, you know that
I'm
people.
going back to see my relatives.
Well, but being in Vegas is a perfectly legitimate excuse
Yes.
for not getting back to someone. Hey, man, I was
hey,
in the catacombs
I think-
of a
deep
casino.
yes.
Well, and based on their commercials lately, I feel like they may have even a city ordinance that requires
You're not
you
allowed
to
to
turn
say
in
anything, right?
at the airport. You have to turn in your cell phone, and at the little border check, like sorry, sir.
Yeah.
That
all
would be
cell phone.
awesome, actually, because they're no, but people still did get a hold of me. Sorry, Jason. I did take care of what you want me to. It was take care of the beers here. We're good.
I love it.
I know how brewery guys work.
Yes, you've been around the block a couple times.
Yeah, Jason is. I mean, and it's a compliment to him. But you know,
you have
he's.
to preface it.
I had to preface it because this is a compliment.
He's
But
on. He's
on it.
He is.
And
He's on
brewery
the
people
spot
are
with
not
it.
usually on it. So
Right.
But
Well, and then
that
and then
moment
even
right-
me, I'm like, okay, I'll try and remember to get back to this email in just a minute. But then it's like hours later of me just like.
That
anyway.
moment though, right there, Joby, totally reminded me of Talladega Nights. Where he's like, "Well, I said with all due respect."
I know. I hate to
You
do
can't
it.
be offended. I said with all due
I
respect.
know. I hate to do a disclaimer. I'm sorry, but I meant it with all due respect. But it's, it's. Listen. We need someone like you on our team.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So what's going on in Ventura County right now, though, the beer scene? Let's talk about some
Oh,
stuff
wow.
that's come up. I mean,
Something big, yeah.
Monday, I think, is the opening day for
is correct.
for Poseidon Brewing Company.
I've seen them all over the place since our show. It's
they've
great.
been getting a lot of
A
love.
lot of love.
So I just released the Bounty of the County episode that Jason and I did featuring Barrel House 101 and
Yes.
their pairing at the Ventura County Fair. Tomorrow will be the happy hour that we did last week. That'll be
Which was great.
out and about, so that try and get a push again with them doing a soft opening on Sunday.
August 11th.
They're doing
Monday,
They're
the
doing
soft
Friday.
open
on
Monday,
Sunday.
and then Tuesday is for the public, and there's no soft opening for breweries.
I tell you, though,
I can't imagine.
It's a good idea. I went to Surfs. I think that's where I actually. We may have just met. We were at
Yes,
Surf,
yeah, that's right.
and they sort of did that concept where they kind of told people, but not really. But
was so
let's rewind a couple of years. The beer scene 2 years ago and the beer scene now. These
Way
guys are
different.
mobbed.
We are way different. And
Yeah.
so I snuck in yesterday. They were
At
doing some
Poseidon.
work. At Poseidon.
Were you at Beacon?
I was at Beacon doing some work. Because
Imagine that.
we've got our eye opener coffee that I'm working with Beacon on that benefits
That's
Food
right.
Share, one of the supporters of both of our shows. And I go in on Wednesdays, help them bag and get that product out the door. Poseidon's door was open. So I'm like, hey, Benita, Brian, what's going on? Kind of peeked in. And they had guys in there taping off all the wood that we had talked about during our broadcast,
Right.
getting ready to spray with polyurethane and seal everything up.
Right.
So the changes from even our broadcast
A week ago.
a
Week
week
ago.
ago to yesterday are really amazing. They had cleaners in that really scrubbed everything down before our broadcast,
Yeah.
and they broke everything down after inspection,
Yeah.
sealed it all off. They're spraying it and cleaning it up. The bar top was all sealed and had a great layer of polyurethane on it.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready, but like you said, people-wise, they're
It's gonna be packed.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just thinking to you. I mean, when this place opened,
Yeah.
the amount of work. I think I stopped in maybe a week before you were
I think-
ready to open.
You did some sort of interview, right?
Right, and then before
I
before
never
I
saw
even-
it anywhere.
I mean, we weren't even hanging out. We
No,
weren't
just-
even hanging out at that point. And I came in and
It didn't look like it was gonna open.
there was no taps,
Yeah, there were no
handles.
taps.
I mean, you were building the stainless steel
Yeah.
and everything. What happens in that last week of no
It-
sleep and just balls to the wall, just getting all the shit done
Yeah.
it's incredible what can happen in that time.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself, as I told them that day, I said, enjoy this next couple of weeks. It sounds weird, and because once you get once you get open, then it's about it's kind of like you have this like real big push to get open. And once you're open, then it's like now you have to maintain and there's other stuff. But when you look back, you're like, man, that was actually pretty cool. Like, yeah, I didn't sleep. Yeah, there was like a lot of, and I think some of us are addicted to that. And people that do events, like all that kind of stuff, it's that same kind of mentality. It's like that addiction to, because I actually enjoyed it.
But the challenge with that is that eventually you hit kind of a wall. You just go, and then one day you're like, man, I'm actually pretty wiped out.
Yes, you are, yeah.
But I told Venita, I said, on Saturday, make sure you get yourself a big beer or a big cocktail. Maybe get a little tipsy.
Like before it even happens.
Yeah, so not even the day before, but 2 days before, get that big night of relaxation, a little tipsy, relax with Brian, cheers with Reno for
just
the
kind of
opening.
look at the place.
Because then the night before opening, you're going to be like bonkers trying to get last minute details together.
Yeah. And the thing is, you never finish everything. And the idea, I think, what ends up happening is people don't really know what it's supposed to be, but you have all these things like that you need to check off and do. But you can get open. Like, you can get open.
Well, if the state has signed off on you, then you're in good enough shape to open it up.
If you got beer flowing, if you're a brewery, it's basically if you got beer flowing and there's somewhere for people to sit, then I think you're fine.
The floor. I mean, people come.
But we stressed over the last minute details. Like, well, we need that piece of art that's supposed to go right there because if that doesn't go there, we can't open without that piece of art there. But really, you can.
And yesterday, the mural
or painting, the exterior of your place.
Well,
I mean, sometimes
it
takes a while.
detail. But yesterday they had some artwork up. They had the mural almost finished.
It's cool.
And it starts really making it welcoming to everyone. It's about the details there to make people feel comfortable.
Of course it is. No, I know.
But
I'm saying, as from the inside, you're stressing about the details.
Yeah. But we could go Moroccan style. We should maybe consider that as a theme, where everyone's just sitting on the floor with great blankets and beautiful beer.
Sure.
That sounds good. I like that.
I like the big pillow ideas, sitting on pillows. Right.
That just makes for nap time, though, I think, after a few beers.
That sounds awesome.
Well, Kevin just walked in here behind. He's going, hey, what's
Why Joby in my seat?
Before we cut out for a break and get into the official broadcast, I do want to ask, because we were kind of alluding to it during the Poseidon broadcast on Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis, glassware. Okay, they have like 4 or 5 different styles of glasses for the different beers.
Yeah.
We're in Barrel House 101 tonight. You guys have a few different styles of beer. What's your personal opinion or philosophy, Joby, about proper glassware? I see that on Instagram all over the place now. #proper glassware. I have opinions about logos versus shape, and I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, for example, tonight we have the 3 Groundswell beers, right? And I just couldn't put the Saison in a pint glass. And I know I've seen it at places, and I've seen like pictures of posts like, #whatever Saison, and it's in a pint glass. So we don't have every beer style here, but we at least try to group it into like at least a couple of different ones, like 3 or 4. And I think for your house, you can get away with like 3 or 4, and some places can. Curtis, he might correct me on that. But
well, and Curtis, you came up with these great pints and pairings glasses that are fairly universal.
But you can't just put everything in the same glass. Though.
Well, and what's funny is because I've been a proper glassware crusader for several years, and then all of a sudden in the last few days,
I wonder what the cape was.
I know it's one of these shaped glasses right here on my chest. I just stand up like this, cape flowing in the wind.
I can see you.
But all of a sudden it's this big deal. Well, I'm glad that people are talking about it, certainly because. Let's get rid of these stupid shaker pints. I mean, unless you're mixing a cocktail and you're going to pour it in and give it to somebody with a giant straw out of it, don't pour beer into that thing.
But we need to get the breweries to get rid of the shaker pints because truthfully, we buy most of our glassware from the breweries, because that's their advertising.
But the
if
shaker
we can get
pint
them to do it,
it's cheap and easily produced.
Stackable shape. There's a bunch of bar reasons why.
And
but I'm with
I've
you.
I've got a book. An ebook called The Perfect Pint, but
available on
Amazon.com.
Nice.
But I talk about the shaker pint and the necessity for it, in that you don't have room to stack 400 tulip glasses.
Right. They don't stack.
No, and so right.
Just for clarification.
and you go into a Belgian restaurant, into a beer bar in Belgium. You're going to see that they're all hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, I think that's cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, and it's totally awesome. But they also don't have this many people going through that bar.
You know what we need, Joby?
That evening.
A sweet conveyor belt system from the dishwasher to a little overhead rack. We just keep them rotating.
Just keeps it going. I like that. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you can invent a stackable tulip, you'd make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, that would be. You know,
I don't know
just
how it would work, but
flare that lip out just a little bit, and then. But like the sort of like the Take-Two glasses that I've seen now that are wine glasses, but they have that real sharp angle up.
Yeah.
Firestone Walker has a couple of those, you know, where if it was almost comes up and then had that angle out where you could put the stem inside.
Yeah.
That's something.
to answer your question, we love glassware, and our problem is that with so many beers on tap, we can't have so many glasses. Like it wouldn't make sense anywhere because most of the beers are in pints.
So what's a universal glass then? If we wanted to tell our listeners one or two glasses to have in your cupboard at all times, what would we use?
I would use that one.
Like the North Coast glass right here.
The
this
tulip
one.
glass. That's a great glass.
These little ones, which is
I would
almost,
serve
which
my
is just a
IPA.
little version of them. Oh yeah, every glass. So I've got a snifter and I have a smaller tulip, one that's kind of like this, not such a big bulb like a Duvel glass,
Right.
because that's 13 ounces of beer, whatever
Right.
it is. I mean, that's a big glass. So this is a beautiful glass. You can see it gives this. Just as, even if it's a darker beer, these beautiful color ranges all the way through from where it's the thick to the thin. And then you get to watch the bubbles come up, especially because like this one may not, but find one that has the
Little dimple on the
etching.
bottom.
Oh, yeah.
The etching.
And one of the things, from my own personal bias, that I love about the North Coast glass is the very discreet and simple logo as well.
Right. You're talking about logo placement. Yes.
Yeah, and because I've seen a lot of Instagram. It's just a personal pet peeve. I know it's ridiculous, but I've seen a lot of people, they post the beer that they're drinking in a glass that has nothing to do with the beer they're drinking in a totally different brewery, and
And
actually
it's totally wrong style.
totally wrong style, totally different logo. And I've actually seen them putting in hashtag proper glassware. I'm like, no, hashtag improper glassware, because
Maybe
it's
you
not,
should start that.
It's not the
Right,
brewery,
And then you can
You can-
repost.
and-
People regram people's stuff.
It's kind of a
Like-
guerrilla warfare
Because
sort
it's
of thing.
not
No, that's not. That is
Hashtag
incorrect.
improper.
if you're going to use the wrong style glass, at least make sure it's the right brewery. Or
Right.
if it's the wrong brewery, make sure it's the right style.
This is what happens though. Somebody you get glasses from a brewery, then you're at home, then you're drinking. Of course, you're not gonna have every single brewery's glass. So then what to do? So then you post a picture of.
And again, I know it's
So-
it's silly, but I almost feel
That's-
like it's borderline disrespectful to the brewery that you're drinking because
Well,
it's in a glass that's not theirs.
I would have to agree with you. When we've had nights like breweries come in and then you have the brewer here and he orders, let's say it's an Incasi, the owner, and he orders a beer and he gets it like in an 805 glass. It just seems weird. It does. Or Magic Hat number 9. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
okay,
and that thing, that's a whole different discussion with all the graphic
well,
it has.
right.
And that is why you should get a pints and pairings tulip taster glass like
That's
what
a
we've got.
fantastic idea. You will not
Because-
offend any brewery
Right,
if
you
use
won't,
this.
and
Right.
you're telling everyone when you're drinking this that you care about your beer.
Joby will make you a good deal on a whole case of it.
Hey, these are nice. I know,
And we have one for you as a take-home parting gift. Joby.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, hashtag improper glassware coming soon, and hashtag proper glassware. But
I like
Yeah,
the
it-
improper glassware. I'm just start blasting everyone else who's doing it. I like your subversive.
Again, I think you should be consistent and respectful to the people you're tasting, and I don't know. You can't, like you said, you can't please everyone all the time. You can't always make it work, but I try very hard at my household to make sure it's the right glass and the right.
so
logo.
that's why sometimes I just have blank
Yeah,
glasses.
you
No
can't
logo.
you can't go wrong. There's a lot of places actually where you can get just good glassware that has no affiliation.
No, yeah.
Well, my go-to glass at home is actually from LA Ale Works, and it was the first one that they gave to us. But the silver painting came off, and so it's just this clear glass.
Not sure that's a good thing.
I've
but-
actually got two of them. Well, yeah, because
Well,
it was one of their first,
right.
their prototypes, whatever it
And
was.
Curtis uses his glassware so much and watches it so frequently.
Right, that it does.
Yes.
The-
I'm going to take it one step further and say, take care of your glassware. Wash it right. That's the biggest thing, I think, is that just, don't take care of it?
Nah.
All right.
Food chunks on the inside
Apparently
of it.
it's abundant,
Food chunks on the inside of it gives it another place for the
Food chunks are
bubbles.
fine, but
Hashtag disposable America.
definitely don't put
Greasy-
soda or something in it.
greasy-
Or,
oh,
greasy.
God.
Once something like that touches it, just
I know.
consider it not a beer glass anymore, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And I think
Greasy fingerprints. That's my favorite. Is you get a glass and then there's this fingerprint on the inside of the glass where all the bubbles are
What's sweet, though, is
nucleating.
it's
and
not
stuff.
supposed to be like that.
Based on the people in his household, he can probably tell who it is based on thumb size.
Right. All right.
And which kid was it?
Who unloaded this dishwasher?
Yeah.
Well, should we take a couple of minute break?
I think
and,
I think your guess is ready.
we're gonna reset for
Reset.
Kevin Rhodes of
Well, thanks for
Groundswell
having me,
Brewing
guys.
Company. Joby, it's
Yeah,
always
Joby.
a good time.
I'm gonna walk around and see what's going on.
Pleasure.
Drink some more
You're
IPA.
more than welcome to jump back in at
Now
any
that I've
time.
already started drinking, thanks, Jason.
Welcome back.
We've got some more. We've got more.
All right, guys.
Cheers. All right, we'll take a couple minute break. We'll get back and look for these episodes, future or past, wherever you're coming in at on this series from Groundswell. Kevin Hilgeman will be here very shortly. We'll catch you at the next bar.
Cheers.
Pints and Pairings is brought to you in part by the Beer Cave, located at 231 Village Commons Boulevard in Camarillo, California.
If you prefer a cocktail or some vino, this neighborhood market also has a great selection of premium spirits and wine, along with an attached deli for a quick sandwich to go.
When you stop in, be sure to mention that you heard about them right here on the Pints and Pairings Show, and maybe grab a sandwich for me on your way out.